Strange button, isn't it?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. It's me, it's the man, it's the myth, it's the legend. Well, I wouldn't even go that far. It's Carl, Anthony Withy here, Wilkinson Withy as well, here for tonight's broadcast at Nashville Fairgrounds. I'm joined by the true myth up in the booth, the absolute legend that is Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to be here at Music City Motor Complex, as it's known. Currently, had a bit of trouble finding information on this track tonight, so we'll see how the racing goes, because it doesn't exist.
It's always good when you find a track that doesn't exist. You're like telling the computer, no, I'm pretty sure it does exist. I've seen it. I know it exists because I'm kind of there right now. But no, the computer does indeed say no tonight and ignore the fact that we are actually here at Nashville Fairgrounds. It is round number 7, I think, off the top of my head, of the series here. And no, sorry, round number 9, I should say. There we go. That's my usual brain fart out of the way, but a very short track, very tricky place indeed. We're looking at fairly high track temperatures, 51 degrees Celsius, 29 degree air temperature tonight. That is going to make things interesting, and the cars are just getting round for their formation laps, so let's take it away with the starting grid for tonight's race. And taking pole position, it is Andrew Dyson with Gary Wellman on his outside. On row number 2, it's Double D Dave Douglas with Shane Bowen. On row 3, we've got Ryan Jones with Joshua Carroll Walden. On row 4, it's Parry Anastakis and Norman Clark. Row number 5, Christopher Ireland and Jason Martin, who celebrated his 400th start with ANZCAR recently. Row number 6 is Barry Neal with Stevie Dubb. Row 7 is Ben Henniker with Cade Donnelly. Row number 8, Brad Fenley with Ruben Phelps. On row number 9, it's Derek Jacobs and Roger Clark. And rounding us out tonight is Noddy Tompkins. So as they come round, the pace car will pull in very soon, and we will get underway here for Nashville Fairgrounds in these fantastic X-Finity cars. Hopefully we get some fantastic short track racing here tonight that we can absolutely enjoy to the maximum. Pace car is about to pull in. Let us get ready for the start of this race. As they come to the line, the green flags drops. Let's listen to these cars roar away here at Music City. And they all look to have gotten away cleanly for the start. Up front, Dyson is in the lead. Gary Wellman just dropping down behind Dave Douglas. And we've got a battle behind Shane Bowen fighting it out with Ryan Jones. Ross a couple of positions, just gets a touch from Joshua Carroll Walden. Goes around, and that causes a big pile-up. We have got a massive crash here. Shane Bowen, a car that we were watching, the one that really got caught heavily in that, but we saw Jason Martin caught in there too. Roger Clark, Norman Clark, Derek Jacobs, I think, got caught up in that one too. Let us jump to the replay on that one. Chris Ireland too, I think, got caught up in that one. Let's jump to the blimp cam here.
See JCW down low and just touches that rear quarter of Bowen, and Bowen gets turned, and then unfortunately for Norman Clark, and couldn't see those other guys there, Carl, that were involved in that, had nowhere to go.
No, that is a big one. Let's jump back to Brad Fenley in this one, and we're going to jump on board here with him. Get a bit of an idea of what happened from his point of view. We saw that JCW got caught with Parry Anastakis as well, so there was a bit of a secondary accident going on down the road. And here's Brad Fenley trying to squeeze his way through and gets caught up in that one. A lot of cars caught up in that one. That's half the field caught up in a big accident there at the early stages of the race. That is going to really thin the field down. We had 19 cars starting this race, and we've lost. I think we've lost almost 2 from major damage, but many more are going to be limping around this place with some extreme damage here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like we've lost Roger Clark there in the 999 car, and our American driver Derek Jacobs are heavily involved and decided to call it a night. With damage like what Derek and Roger got, it's pretty much done dusted. You can see there Norman Clark in the 09 car, heavy damage on the front and rear of that vehicle.
Yeah, Bowen as well. We saw him on his roof. He went full turtle, but managed to get the car rolled back over. So that was that's a dramatic start to the proceedings tonight, Mark. We were getting settled in to have some green lap chats, but no, we go to a caution almost straight away here at Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, this place has got a bit of interesting history, Carl. Opened in 1904. And it was an actual dirt track, so it's come a long way since 1904.
It has indeed, but we're going to go back to green flag racing here. Dave Douglas and Andrew Dyson lead away. Ryan Jones trying to make a move early on, trying for that low line, and we are very much back underway, and the action is once again on here at Nashville. It's Dave Douglas looking to run around the high side there in the number 10. Can he make a move here on Dyson? Get himself up into the lead. He's going to be trying. Watch Douglas. He is very good on these short tracks. One of those tracks that will suit the number 10 A1 Sim Sports car. And he could be in for a good run here tonight if he manages to keep it out of trouble. Easier said than done, it seems.
Yeah, big slide there for Stevie Williams coming out of turn number 2. That's allowed now Ruben Phelps to get up. Carl, I expect anyone that has some decent road racing background to really do well here tonight, being the short tracks and going to have to get on the brakes reasonably heavy to get into the turns. But the banking here tonight is 13 degrees in the turns, so that's a little bit of help there for the guys getting the cars turned left and getting them hooked up.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fairly high degree of banking here at Nashville, and that's one of those. As Ryan Jones gets a huge snap on the exit. You can see a field of DPR cars up the front because you've got Jones, Ireland, and Stevie Dub up there as well. But it is one of those places that is surprisingly quick because of that high degree of banking. You can carry a fair amount of speed through these corners, keep the car right up to pace. And it's one of those tracks that might be very small, might be very short, but it is a fairly quick track. And when you have an accident here, it can cause much chaos, like we just saw at the start of the race. This man Jason Martin was heavily caught up in that one, and that's going to have big implications on the championship. He has got no pace in that car at the moment. It is looking like it is seriously struggling at the 21, and he is right at the back of the pack at the moment, with this man Dyson leading, and Barry Neal, the championship contender there as well, up in 6th position.
So we've had another retirement 09 of Norman Clark, and as we go under yellow again. I completely and utterly missed that one.
And the caution flag is flying once more. Could be for Noddy Tompkins. Let's see.
I noticed Noddy earlier on was very high, so yeah, could quite well be for him. Yep. Very bumpy down low, and you can just see that the cars got very loose and a little bit of a fishtail, just enough to bring out the caution as Martin comes past.
Yeah, Martin just getting through there, and well, we've got a bit of Facebook, bit of a YouTube chat, and a few of the PUBG players out there just saying Dyson needs to park it up and get back into the game because, you know, he's spending too much time in this racing malarkey. You know, he needs to get back to what he's good at. But he is currently sitting up there in the lead with Dave Douglas, and Dyson, we know, is a lot of years of road racing experience under his belt, and he has got the braking under control, and this is going to be a big help on this track. But do not discount Dave Douglas from this one. This is one of those tracks that will really suit him. Jason Martin's been into the lane to get some more repairs done. Same for Joshua Carroll Walden. Just heard from Roger Clark. Unfortunately, the steering was absolutely destroyed in the 999, and that is why he has had to take him out. Take that car out of the race and park it up behind the wall. Shane Bowen still trying to get repairs done. Must be some heavy damage on the 308 still in the lane. Same for Brad Fenley. So quite a few cars getting some trying to get back out on track. Noddy Tompkins getting a quick repair done as well, getting himself back out on track. Although Noddy has lost a lap because of that. So we've got quite a few cars in in unenviable spots a bit further down the grid here tonight, and that's really not what you want. Although you could easily find yourself back on the lead lap if you find yourself a handful of laps down here, because we've seen the caution flag out twice so far here tonight. We're on lap 18 of 200 at Nashville Fairgrounds.
Yeah, I've just had a good look at that car of Shane's, Carl. Very bent in the rear and very bent on the front. So that's going to take some time to get repaired. Jason Martin being in through pit lane and being able to get a rear end put back onto that car.
Yeah, that might help the Mitch Motorsport car get some speed. It looked like there was some major suspension damage as well, because watching the car through the corners, as we said, it's a very bumpy track here, but that car was not looking settled whatsoever. It was looking like a right handful, and that's not what you want. Anyway, pace car is about to pull in, and we're going to go back to green flag racing here as we hit lap number 20 of 200. It's Dyson and Douglas up the front. Green flag falls, and we go back to racing once again at Nashville. Good start for Dyson on the inside. Same for Ryan Jones. The inside line getting away nicely. Can Douglas fight it back? Get himself back up into second position. It's going to be a tough fight now between Douglas and Jones. Both very hard fighters, will not give an inch to each other.
Yeah, what Jones has got to be careful of is being on that low line, as you said, Carl. Very bumpy down there in turns through 1 and 2, and also in 3 and 4, that it doesn't bounce him up out of that groove and into DD. So be mindful of that. And we see there just behind them, Ireland giving Gary Wellman a bit of a hurry up.
Yeah, watch out for Wellman. Again, one of those tracks where Wellman's got some good experience and good speed at as well. As Stevie Dubb has had an incident, and you can see their left front wheel caved in that car. He's going to have to come into the lane if he can actually make it, because steering that thing is going to be a nightmare at the moment. Can Stevie Dubb in the 98 actually get it pulled down below the line in time? That is a race-ending damage there, you've got to say, for the 98. That's his chances over and done with. We'll jump back to this little battle and try and get a replay in a moment once things settle down. Find out what happened to the 98 of Stevie Dubb.
Unfortunately for Stevie Dubb, he's had to do a complete lap. He's only just coming in the pit lane now. And he hasn't been able to do it. He's into the wall.
We'll jump back to live pictures, and you can see there the 98 just sitting down. He's trying to get it turned in, but that's going to have to tow it back as the engine goes Here we go. This is the replay of the 98. Let's see if we can get this one worked out. So a little bit of contact between himself and Kate Donnelly, and heavy contact in the wall for Stevie Dubb. Didn't bring out the caution, but that is a race over for the 98. As we were watching that replay, Ryan Jones moves himself up into second. And we've got battles all throughout the track at the moment. Everybody sort of behaving. There's some sort of okay gaps as we go through. But we've got some racing here between JCW and Barry Neal. Barry Neal's going to be hoping he can get a good finish here tonight, because it's going to help him move up ahead of Jason Martin in the championship. But he ideally would like to see somebody go up and maybe give Daiso a little bit of a nudge here or there, and cause him to just not have the best finish tonight, because that will help close the gap between Neal and Dyson in the championship.
Yeah, it's definitely going to close things up, but we can see at the moment JCW hanging tough on that outside line. But as I say that, Barry just gets a little bit of a gap there, so that puts Neal clearly into sixth place now.
Yeah, good positioning, and well, good recovery from JCW. We saw him involved in that first incident and getting a little bit of damage, but he's managed to keep it going. Ruben Phelps up there as well, and they are putting Barry Neal under pressure as they go 3 wide. We got 3 wide action at Nashville Fairgrounds, Mark. This is going to be tricky. They make it through, and JCW does the beautiful pass up the top, gets past both Phelps and Neal there as Ruben Phelps was trying to get underneath Barry Neal. JCW saw his opportunity, got himself up high and scooted his way through. Ruben Phelps gets past Neal, and Neal loses both spots.
And now that's brought Kay Donnelly into the action too. So we'll see if Barry loses another position to Donnelly.
Yeah, Donnelly's been on some good form recently, has had some really good speed in that number 40 car, and is working his way up nicely, keeping himself right on the back of Barry Neal. We see Ruben Phelps hungry for another spot, and again, Phelps and JCW, these two will battle it out. They will not make it easy for each other, as we may just have a little moment with Noddy Tompkins here. I saw a bit of a puff of smoke. Let's go back to the replay here and see what's happened to the number 80. Back end just stepping out again, just saves it, keeps it running off the track, so doesn't bring out a caution flag. Meanwhile, up at the front, we've got a battle for the lead as Ryan Jones sends it down the inside of Andrew Dyson. Dyson gets a better run off the corner. Jones has got a nose ahead at the moment. Can Dyson defend here, or will we see Jones moving himself up into the lead of this race? Great battling between teammates.
Yeah, 100%, and I know what Dave's thinking there. We have seen some of the DPR guys battle a little bit too hard and have a moment between them. So DD's probably thinking, yeah, go on, race each other hard, touch each other, and take each other out.
And while they're fighting each other as well, that's going to help slow them down a little bit, give Douglas the opportunity to get the run here. If they continue battling like this, it's going to be good news for Douglas, who's just sitting there waiting to pick up any pieces. But we know these two will race hard with each other. Despite being teammates, they will absolutely fight it out.
And there's a great battle at the moment between Woolman and Ireland. They're battling hard, and that's now allowing JCW, Phelps and Donnelly to close in on that battle. So we'll have a 5-way battle there for fourth, fifth, sixth.
Shaping up to be a good fight up here at the front between well, between most of the field at the moment. As we can see, that gap is closing down. Ireland and Wellman are really getting closer in this fight, but this is the big battle at the moment, and again keeping it side by side, but finally Ryan Jones just has to bow out a little bit, just has to get himself into just out of line for a couple of moments as he was running that low line for quite a bit of time, and Dyson remains in the lead of tonight's race.
So again, just recapping, we've actually lost 3 drivers that have actually taken the cars behind the wall. That's Norman Clark, Roger Clark and Derek Jacobs. Shane Bowen and Stevie Dove. I don't think we'll see Stevie Dove back out there tonight. I'm pretty sure that motor went kaboom. But Shane Bowen is still in there. Not another little incident there for Noddy Tompkins on the inside wall out of 4.
Yeah, we saw the smoke just drifting across the track, and the leaders are catching up, and as they do that, Ryan Jones is going back on the attack, and they are once again in battle, but lap traffic is going to start playing a part in this race soon as well, as these two fight it out side by side. Possibly something happening to Pariastakis as well, but he seems to be running well. Noddy Tompkins just runs it up right at the high line, keeping himself out the way of the leaders. Nicely done there to keep himself out of trouble and out of the leaders' race.
Well, I can tell you, Carl, Shane Bowen has got that car with a front end back on it and a rear end back on it, so I would expect to see him back out on the track just to get some laps in and keep running and get some bonus points, because on a track like this you just never know what's going to happen.
You could easily find yourself in a top 10 finishing position tonight if you just get the car to the finish line, because we've seen some quite high attrition. We've lost 3 cars from the race properly, and 2 cars are sat in pit lane with heavy damage. Brad Fenley's managed to get it back out on track. He is some 14 laps down, so a lot of hard work for Brad Fenley tonight, but he could still gain a few positions if we see some more incidents here. And well, as the tyres start to burn off, Mark, that becomes more and more likely.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, as we can see, Dave Douglas very sideways there through 3 and 4. I was just going to say, with the bumps in this track, and the cars get lighter with fuel, we're going to see these rear ends really start to move around, and we can start to see that on DD's car only 48 laps into this race, and now that's the lad Gary Wellman down the inside take over 4th, but he gets it back.
And Wellman makes the move there. Douglas is really struggling with the rears right now. That back end of that car is not looking hooked up. Barry Neal is working his way back up through the field as well. He's just got past Joshua Carroll-Walden. We saw that just before the move of Gary Wellman. Douglas just hemorrhaging positions at the moment. Maybe went a little bit too hard too early. Was just used a little bit too much rear tyre on that car, because it is definitely struggling at the moment. It's just really not having a good time. He's almost trying to diamond the apex a little bit. He's really taking a wide line in, trying to cut the exit a little bit shorter. But you can see every lap there, he is almost sideways, drifting the car around. That thing is not looking settled whatsoever. And then meanwhile, up the front, we've got a battle for the lead once more between Jonesy and Dyson. And they are back in action, the 2 DPR cars. Teammates battling it out on track at the moment, being cheered on by a few teammates in the chat, enjoying this DPR run at the moment. All 3 DPR cars remaining in this race at the moment. Dyson, Jones and Ireland in the top 3. We lost Stevie Dub, who's in for major repairs at the moment when he made contact with Kay Donnelly and ended up going down into the inner wall and ripping the left front wheel off the car.
We've further down the field, Carl, Ruben Phelps has finally got past Dave Douglas, but gets very loose out mid-corner, and that has dropped both Dave Douglas and Ruben Phelps back down to the rear end of the top 10, back down to 7th and 8th.
Yeah, we just saw that as it happened. Phelps getting loose, Douglas being very, very polite there, because all it would have taken was a little bit of right foot action and Ruben Phelps would have been going round. Douglas just jumped on the brakes, just eased off there a little bit, and those two continue to battle on for another night, but that's going to really add a little bit more heat to those tyres and hurt them in this race. Ben Henniker doing a good job inside the top 10 at the moment. He's just with Cade Donnelly, and Barry Stacker's just having a little bit of a moment. He's just in 12th position. Jason Martin in 11th spot as well. So quite a few cars in peril out there. But picking off peril up the front, Ryan Jones tries a bit of a slide job on Andrew Dyson. They make a bit of door-to-door contact there. And once again, Dyson's able to get the drive out the corner and keep himself into the lead.
And it looks like Noddy Tompkins has decided to take the car behind the wall. So that's another one down for the night. A bit of a little tough track, this. We spoke briefly about the banking and everything. But, yeah, tough little track.
That's definitely one of the tougher tracks out there, especially in this car as well. You know, when you're running a car that's a little bit less horsepower, a little bit different cars, it can be a little bit easier. You know, cars designed for real short tracks like this. But of course, the X-Finity cars, they're designed to run on short tracks, but they're sort of multi-role. You know, they've got a lot more horsepower in them, a lot more speed, a bit bigger than some of the other cars, and that can make a track like this a real big challenge.
Yeah, definitely right. I'm just looking through some of the history of the track back in, back in 2019, the World of Outlaws, the dirt trackers came here. So they covered the track in dirt and ran the old 410 sprint cars around here. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have minded being there at the place for the sprint cars around here.
No, that could have been rather entertaining indeed.
But we've got a great race going on here now. We've got the 3 DPR cars that are left in this race, nose to tail, and unfortunately. A little bit of a gap back to our 4th place getter, Gary Wellman.
How long is he going to be keeping that 4th place though? Because Barry Neal has come alive in these latter stages, absolutely flying out here. Obviously saved a little bit of tyre life, just took it a little bit easier in the beginning, because right now the 22 Aotearoa Racing entry is flying through the pack, and we've got a caution flag out for Cade Donnelly. The 40 Sim boy is pointing in the wrong direction and trying to flick it back, pointing the right way. Let's find out what's happened to the blue Sim boy right here. So was it a little bit of help, or did we see Cade Donnelly just going around on his own? We see Brad Finley right behind him at the moment. Let's find out what's happened here to the number 40. And I imagine we're going to see a glut of cars down pit lane right now, Mark, looking for some fresh tyres. And Donnelly just got a little bit low there, just caught the apron, and that caused him to go around.
Yeah, I can tell you now the whole field's in pit lane.
Not a surprise there. That is going to be a lot of fresh tyres for the pack, and Dyson gets away. Looks like everybody took 4 sets of tyres as well as a little bit of fuel. Other than Parry Anastakis, actually. Looks like Parry only took a little glug of fuel. He was stationary for about 4.8 seconds, Mark.
Yeah, interesting that he didn't take tyres, although he has been down pit lane earlier, so maybe he took tyres then and feels that he doesn't need to take them.
Yeah, he's been in twice. I'd say for fuel more than anything. But we saw everybody struggling with the tyres. Maybe it's just heat related, not wear related. So maybe rolling the dice here, or he's going to come in and slap a fresh set of tyres on now. So looks like just decided to stay out that one extra lap just to get himself up there. Not sure if he had a lucky dog or not. He could have been in a lucky dog spot.
Well, it's actually showing him leading the race for that lap. So
yeah.
Maybe he's just stayed out there to get that extra bonus point.
So into the lane now, and they are once again Dyson in the lead with Ryan Jones and Christopher Ireland, the DPR boys up there. Just wondering if you go back and look at Gary Wellman's stop and see if he took all 4 sets of tyres, Mark, because he was stationary for about 13.6 seconds, which usually means it was just 1 set of tyres only and fuel. So we'll try and find that one out as we continue on here. And we are on lap 69, everybody's favourite lap. And, well, pace car lights are out, and we're going to be going back to green flag racing here for some more action at Nashville Fairgrounds.
Well, I can confirm that Gary Wellman took 4 tyres.
A lightning stop there for Wellman. Very nicely done indeed as we go back to green flag racing, and it is Dyson in the lead, Jonesy on the outside, and there's a whole field of cars behind that are getting into the action, and we are going to see the aggression levels turned up as they've got fresh tyres once again. Careful on these laps, boys, because it's easy to loop a car on cold tyres. Get them up to temperature, get it all working before you push too hard, and that is what they are doing. As we can see, a huge battle going on here between Phelps, Neal and Wellman. Dave Douglas into the battle as well, as Barry Neal just lifts off a little bit early there. I wonder if he's going into conservation mode. Bit of a check-up up the front because Joshua Carroll-Walden's gained a lot of time. He makes a big move on Christopher Ireland down the inside. He goes in the 35 and moves himself up into 3rd position.
Caution, caution, caution.
And that could be for Kate Donnelly, who is pointing in the wrong direction, and Parry Anastakis. Let's find out what's happened here between these 2 cars. See if we can pick up the incident here between the 144 and the 40. So, do you reckon it's going to be a little bit of rear contact, Mark?
What possibly could be.
So let's see here. They go into the corner. Anastakis has just got it down the inside. Looks a little bit unsettled, and it just drifts him up. He goes up into Kay Donnelly. Just runs up there. Just washes up in front of Donnelly, and then just tags around, and that is why the caution flag is out. And then Donnelly's just lost it on the exit. So a bit of sort of a double incident there between those 2 cars.
Yeah. The one person I'd say to keep an eye out on this restart is JCW. Very aggressive at the start at that restart just a few laps ago. Um, so it'd be interesting to see how he pursues these two DPR cars in front of him.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Carol Walton turning up the aggression levels a little bit here. He is one of those drivers that is not really in contention for championships, so he is here tonight for just victories and race results. So he's one of those drivers that's got nothing to lose on a bit of an aggressive attack on these restarts, whereas other drivers are battling for the championship, might be a little bit less eager to fight. Jason Martin back into the lane, getting more repairs done. That just shows how much damage there was to the 21 this evening. Jason Martin has been in the lane, how many times is it now? 6 times tonight. He's had to come in to get those repairs done, and it's been a lengthy old time just getting all of those repairs done. But hopefully we can see that car back out on the lead lap, and with those repairs done, working his way back up towards the front of the pack.
And I can also confirm that Shane Bowen has decided to take that car behind the wall. So unfortunate for Shane. The last 2 weeks, some great results for him, but tonight back on the short tracks, he's not had the night that he would have wanted, and retired the car.
No, it's really unfortunate. So we've lost Noddy Tompkins. He's behind the wall. We've still got Stevie Dub sitting out in the lane, possibly getting some more repairs done. We might see the 98 back out on track. But pace car pulls in and we go back to green flag racing. And a good start from Dyson once again. Good start from Ireland as well, up on the high line. That's just jumped him in front of JCW, who gets a move done through the corner. Slides it up in front of Ireland to stop him from having the attack. And now can JCW take it to these two at the front? So far, it has been a 2-horse race between Dyson and Jones up the front. They've got some good speed at the moment and definitely have been the ones to beat up at the front. But will we see a third name enter the list now, as JCW's looking to make a move on Ryan Jones, seeing what he can do? But he's got to be careful because Ireland's right behind him. Douglas gets a little bit loose in the mid-corner behind him too. He keeps him pointing in the right direction, but they are back underway and the racing is definitely heating up.
Just looking back there at Barry Neal, just taking his time. He's just sitting there waiting for the mistakes to happen. He'll be saying, "That's it, boys. You go burn off your stuff. I'll just sit here and I'll wait for you to make a big mistake, and I'll pick up the pieces."
Well, we saw this last time with Barry Neal. He was not too quick in the early stages. He was saving those tyres, and then he was coming back in the latter stages of the stint. Will we see the same again for the number 22? Could well be the case of him just protecting those tyres and hoping for the long run here tonight. We still have 117 laps remaining in this race, so a long way still to go at the Fairgrounds. It is a short lap, but still plenty of action to come, and if you can protect those tyres and come back later in the stint, if we do run green, you could be in a fantastic position. We see Ruben Phelps making a move on Christopher Ireland right now. The other Kiwi in the field, the 06, the Flying Kiwi, Ruben Phelps in the SRM machine. The sole SRM car out there tonight. As we know, the team's been very busy, and team owner Maddie Ray as well has been busy with work, unfortunately. We've not seen him out on track too often this season, so we wish him all the best. But Ruben Phelps doing a good job of flying the flag for the team. Meanwhile, up the front, Jonesy is going defensively, but he's also trying to make a move on Dyson by the looks of it. They're both covering the low and the high line, those two, so JCW can't really make a move for the lead. He's sort of having to stay on that high line just outside of Jonesy, who's able to run that low line tonight very well indeed.
Look in the background now. Island's started to put another move back on Phelps, and it looks like it's 3 wide out of turn 4 down the main straight, and it's been touched. Island has been caught in that rear quarter, and he's gone over.
And we saw that as it was happening. I was just not quick enough to click on the 6-2-3, but that brings us out under caution once again. Well, we said 3 wide was not a wise decision here at Nashville Fairgrounds, and that just shows why it was not. Let's jump up here into the blimp cam, get a bird's eye view of what happened here. 3 wide through turns 3 and 4 on the exit. Just looks like they make contact. Ireland's got the rear end just a little bit loose there. Back end's just stepping out a little bit, and that's going to cause them to wash up that tiny bit. If there was only 2 cars there, I reckon they would have made it. But with 3 cars there, not a chance. Ireland gets caught by JCW, hit heavily by Ruben Phelps, down into the lower wall, and does Gary Wellman clip him? Oh, Gary Wellman just missed that by the skin of his teeth.
I'll tell you what, Carl. Ruben's probably the luckiest person out there, because there is hardly any damage on that 06 car.
And we've seen the 35 into the lane for some repairs. So he obviously got, JCW got a bit of damage from that one too. But yeah, Ruben Phelps got away relatively unscathed in that one. I'm going to jump on board here with Gary Wellman and get a bit of a view of this incident from his position. We saw just how close it was for Wellman on missing that incident, and this is what it looked like from his position. You see the bumper flying underneath the mean green machine, and Wellman just avoided that accident perfectly. That would have been so easy to oversteer it, just getting past and spin the car around, but Wellman did a fantastic job there of, well, saving his race and many others' race with that avoidance.
Yeah, look, and here, had go off also to Island. You could see there when he come back down on the all fours, he was hard on the brakes, and that's also stopped him from bouncing back up the track into the oncoming traffic too. And so well done to him.
A big shame, because Ireland had some really good pace here tonight and was up there on merit. Definitely had the speed here tonight, but unfortunately, well, as we've seen, quite a few people getting unlucky here. The man that's probably helps the most is Jason Martin, who has managed to basically get a brand new Mitch Motorsport car built for him in this race with the cautions that we've had.
Yeah, just looking at JCW's car, that left front still isn't needs some heavy repair, and it looks like that left front tyre is laying back or laying out at the top a little bit, so a little bit of damage done there.
Well, we'll find out just how much that's affecting him as the pace car pulls in. We go back to green flag racing here, and once again, good start on the low line, but this time Ryan Jones gets a fantastic start on the high line. Keeps it right by Dyson. Can he finally make the move and get himself up into the lead of this race? Dyson once again just holding him off. Meanwhile, behind you got Wellman and Phelps moving their way forwards. Douglas is still in this race. Remember, he had some really good pace early on. Burnt the tyres up a little bit, but has definitely got the short run pace in that car tonight. And championship rivals, this is key for second place in the championship. Barry Neal and Jason Martin fighting it out with each other here on track. And Jason Martin just making it ahead of Barry Neal. Remember, we saw Barry Neal taking it easy last couple of starts and last couple of restarts. He has not he's not pushed it too hard at the moment. And I wonder if Martin and Carol Walden took an extra set of tyres in that stop as well. I wonder if they took fresh tyres because they both came into the lane for repairs, and they could well be on slightly fresher tyres compared to the rest of the field, who's done about 30 laps. Up the front though, Ruben Phelps has got the wriggle on because he's just going to try and make it past Ryan Jones now. He's got the inside line here, trying to press the advantage on the DPR cars and work his way up to the front. He's looking to make the move on Ryan Jones down the inside. Big send there, getting a good lot of grip there. Back end just wriggling a little bit, but Phelps holding position. He's just got the nose ahead of Ryan Jones now. Can he make it on the exit? No, back end steps out. Big power slide for Phelps. That's going to cost him the momentum. Jones is going to creep ahead once more as they fight side by side here at Nashville.
Further back down the field, JCW's got that pass done on Martin. So I don't think Martin really fought too hard.
Now remember what we were talking about before, Mark. You know, some of these drivers don't really have championship positions in mind. They are all for the race positions tonight, whereas other drivers will be thinking about that championship standings. JCW, one of them, and he is really putting in some fast driving here and being aggressive. Same for Ruben Phelps, who is trying for some championship points here tonight. He's on the outside. He's currently sitting in 4th position, 23 points behind Jason Martin. So a good result here tonight could be critical for Ruben Phelps to throw his hat back in the ring here and put him in a position where he's fighting for the top 3. Real little bit of contact between the DPR and the SRM machine there. Phelps giving a big door bang to Ryan Jones. They both hold the car in position, and once again Jonesy defends 2nd place.
Yeah, this has also allowed Gary Wellman to slowly creep up and join the back of this battle along with Dave Douglas. So that's going to be on with just under 100 laps to go now. 97 laps remaining in this race. The big thing is, are we going to see these guys back down pit lane? I would say yes, for at least one more stop.
Yeah, that could be key for this race now. We didn't see anybody desperate to come in that last caution for fuel, so they might be okay on the fuel side of things, but the tyres, they will be screaming out in agony once they get to about lap 150, so we might see somebody roll the dice and try for coming in for them then. So it's going to be interesting to see what people decide to do here in this race, and will we see it running green from this point on. Currently the race has been one of cautions. Most cautions I think we've seen this season as well. 5 cautions so far tonight, 23 laps under caution. But it has been a pretty entertaining race up the front. It's been almost too wide action up the front for the last 100 or so laps.
Yeah, 100% correct. I'm just looking down the timetable here. Ryan Jones, fastest lap of the race, 20.134. JCW, a 20.136, and then Dyson, a 20.141. So those 3 guys that are really pushing and having a great race, some great times there. I'm going to ask you, Carl, do you think we'll see a 19 in this race?
Sorry, Mark?
I'm just saying, do you think we'll see a lap time in the 19s?
It is tantalisingly close, isn't it?
Yeah.
But depends if they stay out on these tyres, then no. But once the track's fully rubbered in, might see somebody late in. They might be able to just dip it in to the 19s, the high 19s, but it is going to be a very, very tricky lap to get. They are already struggling in the times they are doing. You know, the late 20s at the moment, they're 20.7s, and the car's not looking easy to drive. So trying to get that extra tenth of a second out of the car here tonight might be a bit too much of asking.
Now I can tell you too, further back, JCW has now dropped back into the clutches of Martin. So that hard push that he tried hasn't worked, and he has slowly come back now to Martin.
Yeah, quite a bit of damage as well, remember, to JCW, so I wonder if that's really unsettled the car. Yeah, up the front, the leaders are running 20.8, 20.9. Then it falls back to Wellman and Douglas, who still sort of close, 21.1s, and then it's 21s all rest down the field. So the leaders are still running some very good pace at the moment, but as we saw, tyre drop-off will start to affect it, and I think we're starting to see that happening now, because Dyson and Jones are doing a great job at the front. They have been able to keep those cars alive, keep the pace in those vehicles, despite the tyre drop-off, but everybody else is just struggling a little bit now. We can see the gaps starting to grow, and now we're starting to see those guys that have been taking it a little bit easy at the start of this stint coming back, and that's Jason Martin trying to make a move on JCW right now.
Big slip up there for JCW out of 2. That's allowed Martin to get the run down the back straight and into 3 and 4. He will get this spot back. He's now back up into 6th position, but JCW fighting hard on the outside. But this is going to allow Barry Neal underneath JCW.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see Martin and Neil closing up on the leaders in the latter stages of the stint if we remain green. But it's maybe not the easiest thing in the world to remain green. Will we see another caution flag out tonight? I've got to say, it is looking very likely indeed, as we see Barry Neal taking that low line. And look, you know, it's good to see Barry back in his natural habitat of keeping it nice and low, taking that low line and being happy down there, making it work at the moment, able to get some really good speed, and able just to get that car working on the exit. We've seen a lot of people struggling down low on the exit of the corner. The bumps really unsettling the car, but Barry Neal, once again, just seems to be able to tame the car on those bumps and run that nice low line. And now we're seeing Ben Henniker as well making the move and moved himself up in the 2-1-3. His teammate Shane Bowen is out of the race, but Henniker here is probably getting a little bit of encouragement from his teammates here and doing a great job of running inside the top 10 tonight. Not the most oval experience, but he is definitely one of those drivers that is improving every single week. The same for the whole Cobalt Racing team.
100% correct. And we just see now Barry Neal being out of gap, put a little gap between himself and JCW. So Barry will be breathing a little bit easier. That car, that 35 car, that Mustang, is not happy out there. I think the damage on that front, you can see there on that shot coming through turn 2, that left front still just holding on there. I think there's some very heavy damage done with that steering, and I wouldn't be surprised if JCW is driving with a little bit of a left hand down.
Comes Henniker trying to make the move on JCW, and he's just about got it done, but loses out on the exit. What has happened to Henniker there? Just got loose there and lost a huge amount of time.
That's unfortunate for him, because that is now put him back into the clutches of Brad Fenley.
Although Brad is 10 laps down, unfortunately, so not a position lost, but a place on the track indeed. We're running on board here with JCW, just trying to get an idea of the steering positioning, and Well, you can see he's needing to turn it left to keep it running in a straight line. It is struggling at the moment. Meanwhile, up the front, we've got a battle for second place on as Ryan Jones loses that second place to Ruben Phelps. Big move there from the 0-6. Moves himself up into second place in this race.
Back down with JCW, Ben Hanker. Ben Hanker's been able to close that gap back up. So he'll be looking at having another battle with JCW. JCW moves up track. Ben Hanker stays on the low line. Drag race down the back. Ben Hanker's been able to get that job done into turns 3 and 4. So great job. Great recovery for him from that little tail wag. And now he'll move off to chase the drivers in front of him, Jason Martin and Dave Douglas, I should say, and Barry Neal.
Well, number 10 looks like it is struggling out there at the moment. That Mustang is, well, it's all over the shop. That thing is drifting around the corners at the moment. Douglas not able to get the rear planted and has lost 2 positions to Martin and Barry Neal. That car is not looking settled at all. We saw this last run for Dave Douglas. Really struggling on the rears here tonight.
It seems like the Chevrolet's the car to be in tonight because we've got 3 of them up the front and starting to drive away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, we've got the lone Ford up there in the top 5 is Gary Wellman. He's got Jason Martin behind him. The only Toyota left in the race tonight is this one of Barry Neal, who is all over the back of Jason Martin at the moment. And those two are trying to work themselves up into the top spots of the race too. As Dave Douglas still struggling out there. He's lost positions to Carol Walden and Henniker. And Douglas's car looks like it's just fallen off the cliff. Somehow he's muscling it through the track, but it is definitely not looking like it is a easy car to drive, Mark.
No, definitely not. We can see him there doing a little bit of speedway work. So, yeah, the tyre, I don't know. We'll definitely get to the bottom of it. I don't know if it's tyre wear or, as you said, Carl, tyre heat. Because these things are moving around a fair bit out here.
Douglas has done 65 laps in this stint, but you can just hear as soon as he puts the foot down, the thing is just breaking loose. He is trying to get it through the corners, but it is a huge struggle at the moment. And just seen popping up in the chat, Mr. Shane Bowen, and he is saying it's definitely tyre temperature.
Well, as you've seen, you know, these guys are still running only a second off their best pace. Dyson last time by 21.4, Phelps 21.3. So everyone down to Perry. Perry's in the 21s time bracket. Only Dave Douglas now in the 22s. Brad Fenley's still in the 21s, and that's all on their last lap. So, as you said, Carl, most of them are on 68, 67 lap old tyres out here at the moment.
Jumping on board with Barry Neal right here. And, well, the rear tyres are sounding a lot more in control in the Supra, in the Aotearoa Racing entry here. And Barry is looking pretty much under control at the moment. He is setting some good lap times at 21.1 last time round. Which is, well, one of the fastest cars on track. He's about 0.3 of a second quicker than Wellman, Jones and Phelps in front of him. 21 dead last time. And you can just see how quickly Barry is closing up to these guys. Just leaving off at the start of this race and taking it easy into this stint is paying off for Barry Neal here as he slides his way back towards the front of the field.
He's closed right up on under the rear wing of Wellman as he goes into 1 and 2.
And he's gapping Jason Martin as well, crucially for Barry Neal. who is, as we say, currently the fastest car out on track by quite some margin. So really good job from Barry Neal to preserve those tyres. But now he is got to, well, it's not just catching these cars, he's now got to pass them, and that's sometimes easier said than done. But Barry is running that real low line that nobody else is, and oh, that did not pay off for Barry Neal. Dave Douglas going around, Barry Neal just going into the stationary Douglas. We saw him trying to collect the rear end of the car. Hopefully that's not too much damage to the 22, but caution flag is out once more for the race, and it is for Dave Douglas. Let's see if we can catch what happened here to Double D. And, well, we saw him struggling to keep that Mustang under control. That thing was a real bucking bronco tonight. And, well, it finally bit Dave Douglas. And, unfortunately, it looks like it may have bitten Barry Neal and maybe JCW as well. Right in front of the leader, Andrew Dyson now. He runs up high, up on a line that he's not been running all night, and that causes the rear end to go around. And then Barry Neal, oh, just can't collect the car up. He locks all four wheels and goes in to Dave Douglas, unfortunately. And that, as they say, is that. But we have many a car in the pit lane coming in for stops for some fresh boots, a little bit of fuel, and once again they are back underway. But how much damage was done to this car, the 22, who I am sure will be cursing that caution under his breath.
Yeah, definitely right. The big thing to come out of this stop is Ryan Jones has been able to jump Ruben Phelps back into second place.
All that hard work for Ruben Phelps goes away in the pit stops as they come through. Jason Martin, he's up in 5th position now and is on fresh tyres. So it's almost been 142 laps for Jason Martin to get back in this position after he got caught out in the early stages after a big wreck on lap number 1, I think it was. We saw a lot of people getting caught up in that early incident. And in case you're just joining us for the first time here tonight, we'll go back to the incident at the start of the race. It saw Joshua Carroll Walden and I'm trying to think now, I think it was Shane Bowen making contact and brought out a caution as well as causing a fairly big incident down the track. We saw Shane Bowen really getting caught up in this one, ending up on his roof, and that was race over for him. But a lot of cars caught up in that early incident, which really has changed the outcome of the race. Shane Bowen in the chat there, just saying we probably don't need to see that incident again. It's old news. He doesn't want to see it again. Those memories now being brought back to him after that big rollover, and now he remembers all the pain once more. But pace car is about to pull in, and we're going to go back to green flag racing here, Nashville Fairgrounds. It's Dyson Jones on the front row. Pace car pulls in, and we go back to green flag racing. Good start for Dyson up front. Good start for Gary Wellman as well. Jonesy slots in right behind him, and we are back to racing here. How will this one go? Dyson gets a huge jump out in front. Brian Jones having to defend against Ruben Phelps as they come through the corner, and the battling once more commences. Phelps getting a good run on the inside. Looks like he's managed to get as well back past Ryan Jones here at the start of the race. Now he just needs to try and close that half-second gap to Dyson up the front. Easier said than done. Dyson leading pretty much every lap in this race, at least race laps tonight. He has been up the front, battling with Jonesy all night long. JCW having to come into the lane. It looks like he's had to make a drive-through penalty, unfortunately for Carol Walden. Brings him back out on track. And Andrew Dyson just sets the fastest lap of the race and does indeed dip it into the 19s at 19.955. Andrew Dyson dipping into the 19s for the first time tonight. Big question is going to be how much damage was done to the 22 Supra here tonight. Is there any cooling damage? Is there any engine damage to Barry Neal? We know he had some really good pace in the latter stages of that stint. Can he get back up there, or is that one race run? Meanwhile, Joshua Carroll Walden just sets the fastest lap as Ruben Phelps makes a move on Andrew Dyson here. Ruben Phelps getting a great run on Dyson here. Looks like he might be able to take the lead of the race. Dyson taking the high line, Phelps on the inside line. Who is going to get this move done? Dyson gets a better drive out the corner. Phelps almost sideways. Phelps later on the brakes into the corner. They are racing hard here. Who is going to come out with the lead of the race? Looks like Dyson just has the nose ahead at the moment. Can Phelps just get in deep on the brakes? Just do a bit of a slide up in front of the 41 here. And as these two are battling out on track, after that little penalty for JCW, he has managed to show that that car still has speed. And Atari entered car has got speed as he sets a 19.916. The only other car tonight to dip into the 19s.
The problem up front here, Carl, is that Ruben's got to use more brake getting into that turn, into the turn. As you can see there, very loose mid corner. He's got to use the brake to hold that car down, and that's going to be transferring heat out through the brakes, through the wheel into those tyres. So if he can get out on the outside of Dyson, he may have a chance at it.
Dyson is defending that high line though like it is his life, so really keeping himself up there. Ryan Jones dips into the 19s as well, 19.957. So well, to answer your question, Mark, they can dip into the 19s tonight. We've had a few cars do it, but only on those very fresh tyres after that restart. And once again, Phelps on the inside trying to make the move, but just can't quite do it. The back end kicking out on the exit once more. We've only really seen one car really manage that low line and manage the overtakes to make it look easy, and that's Barry Neal so far. Ruben Phelps is doing a good job to try, but it's not quite working for him, at least against Andrew Dyson. Good run through the corner once more. They're side by side. Ruben Phelps has just got a nose ahead right here. And oh, it's so very close between these two on the exit. As once again, Dyson's just able to hold that high line, just get the better drive out the corner. Ruben's got a better drive into the corner, but that is not helping him down the straights at the moment. Ryan Jones looking to slide up in the high line as well. See if he can make the move on Ruben Phelps. It is a three-way battle for the lead of this race with just 40 laps remaining. So
what Phelps has got to do is try and trick Dyson to cover that inside line and then not dive to the outside. But Dyson's really smart here. He's keeping that car just a half a length to half a width to a car width off that pole line.
Yeah, Dyson seems to be really comfortable in that mid to high line and he is making it work. And as you said, he's not defending that inside line. He knows that it's not worth defending at the moment, so he's not even thinking about doing it. He's not making it easy to get down there, but he is not defending clean air. He's not defending. He's not dropping himself down there, leaving himself vulnerable to Ryan Jones too. So he's sort of having to defend against two cars. Ruben Phelps is having to fight two cars. Ryan Jones is seeing what he can do now as he gets a good run on Ruben Phelps, who will have got a little bit more heat into those tyres. And Ryan Jones is going to see if he can take advantage of that now. He gets a good run off the exit and moves himself back up into second place in this race.
I think Ruben just backed off there. Let it go. Let Jones go and just try and stay with these guys. Get some heat out of those tyres. Run that midline through the turns to try and have another charge. I reckon with about 10 to go.
And we just heard from Dave Douglas, who sounds like he had a less than enjoyable night in the car. Driving fast, the right rear goes bang. Drive slower, the right rear goes bang. Drive backwards, the right rear goes bang. And then somebody hits you. It just sounds like a night of the right rear just not wanting to communicate with Dave Douglas tonight, which was a big shame. Who had some really good early pace, but not the night that he will have wanted here. And unfortunately, the number 10 is out of the race, which is kind of good news for this man, Brad Fenley, who still 9 laps down in the race. He's one of those cars that got caught in a big incident early on, but he's moved himself up into the top 10 now. And Brad Fenley is doing a great job of damage limitation here at Nashville. Meanwhile, up the front is still Dyson leading Jones, leading Phelps. With Gary Wellman, Jason Martin, Ben Henniker up in 6th position. Barry Neal down in 7th position, looking like he's just struggling for a bit of speed in that 22 car after taking some heavy damage to the nose in that last caution. We've got Parry Anastakis in 8th position. Good to see Parry back out in the ANZCAR series. Joshua Carroll-Walden in 9th position. A bit of a lonely position for himself, trying to keep himself on the lead lap. And Brad Fenley down in 10th. We've lost Dave Douglas, Chris Ireland, Cade Donnelly, Noddy Tompkins, Stevie Dubb, Shane Bowen, Norman Clark, Roger Clark and Derek Jacobs from this race. So, it looks like Ruben Phelps just struggling a little bit for pace now, and I wonder if that running on that low line has just burnt the tyres off a little bit, Mark.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Carl. I think those tyres have seen the best with so much hard running on that low line. You can see now the gaps are definitely opening up between him and Jones, almost out to a half a second, or just over half a second as we're talking. So now Ruben's got to be careful that he doesn't fall back into the clutches of Gary Wellman. On the camera views I'm seeing, I can just see his bumper bar coming into the shots.
And there you go, you can see the 45. Quite a big gap to make up, but we have seen tyre drop off be quite severe here. We're on lap 174, soon to be 175, so 25 laps to go in this race. A very, very eventful evening tonight here at Nashville Fairgrounds, which has seen its fair share of incidents. First time really in a fair few races in the X-Finity series on a Thursday night that we've seen the caution flag out multiple times.
Yeah, it's the most cautions we've seen in a race this year, so the boys are just forgetting how to run these short tracks, but nevertheless I'm quite sure they'll settle down. Well, they have settled down now, and and it's been a great race between these guys that are still out here.
Obviously, they were looking up track information on Nashville Fairgrounds on their apps, Mark, and they couldn't find anything. So no little cheat sheets to get them driven around this place quickly.
No, definitely not.
As we see Joshua Carroll-Walden falling down a lap now. He is the first car a lap down, so if the caution does fly, he will get the lucky dog. But he was doggedly defending that position, not wanting to fall down a lap here in these final few laps. Definitely had some pace in the 35, but has not had the easiest time. A little bit further back, we've got the battle for 6th and 7th. Barry Neal coming back into this race in a rather damaged 22 entry. But he's still got some good pace in that car. Not the pace that he had at the beginning, but definitely still able to keep it moving. He's just moved it past Ben Henniker. Meanwhile, Jason Martin's trying to close the gap on Gary Wellman. See what he can do here. See if he can move himself up into 4th position and just extend a little bit of just get a few more points than Barry Neal, who he is in a battle with for 2nd place in the championship. So we'll jump back to that battle now. It's the closest one we've got on track at this very moment. As we can see Gary Neal trying to work out what Jason Martin is going to do. Two very experienced drivers, two very good drivers on the oval side of things. Very quick drivers as well. And, well, when you've got Jason Martin on your tail, it's never an easy thing to defend against, no matter what you are driving. A big shout out as well to Jason Martin and the Mitch Motorsport team as well. That's Hamish Gallagher, Josh Micklemore, and of course Danny G, one of our admins here at the ANZCAR series. Big congratulations for them for taking out a victory at the Spa 24 Hours on the weekend. The team managed to win their split in a very wet Spa race. And we will have, well, there'll be some more road racing and GT racing coming up in the week, Mark, as the Aussie Outlaws will be heading off to the beautiful, beautiful Italian countryside as they hit up the fantastic circuit of Dino Ferrari. It is the Imola track.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Again, we're very close there in points in the pros and the pro-ams. Top 10 are still only separated by about 5 points in both classes. So looking forward to that. A little bit of a formation change with going to half an hour practice, half an hour qualifying, and then now for the enduro races, a 60-minute race.
Little bit of contact there maybe between Wellman and Martin. Just that back end just stepping out on Wellman. They got so tantalisingly close, but they keep it pointing in the right direction. Yeah, a little bit of a different format change, Mark, but it should still lead to some great stuff. We're looking forward to that one, and you can catch all that action over on Checkered Flag e-streaming.
Yeah, 100% right. Ruben Phelps just then put his car into the outside wall coming out of turn 2 down the back straight. So that's now let Gary Wellman and Martin close up. But they've got to get past JCW if they want to have a run with 12 laps remaining.
Quickly coming to the close of tonight's action. And, well, some fantastic action we are seeing here tonight as Wellman just gives that wall a little bit of a rub as well. You may have heard it over the broadcast as well. Quite a few cars giving that wall a little nibble. Nobody really taking too much damage from it. Just giving that wall a little scrape like you would on a road course like Pau or Monaco. You've got to give that wall just a little tiny nibble to carry the speed through. Oh, Wellman gets a big snap in the mid-corner. Running up on that higher line, it did not pay off for him because he just lost a spot to Jason Martin. So with 9 laps to go, it is Dyson in the lead with teammate Ryan Jones just behind him. Ruben Phelps currently sits in 3rd position. He's got a nice gap behind him to Jason Martin, Gary Wellman, Barry Neal, Ben Henniker, Harry Anastakis, Joshua Carroll-Walden and Brad Finley. The 10 cars out there remaining, and that is our top 10. But so far, it has been a night of, not an easy night, you'd say, but a very dominant night for this man, Andrew Dyson. As we see here, Brad Fenley, persistence really paying off tonight after getting caught up in that early incident. He's managed to get it up into the top 10. It's good to see JCW back out there. Been an eventful night for this car. Still holds the fastest lap of the race though. So definitely had some speed in that 35 entry. Perry Anastakis, good to see him back out on track. The Rogue Sim Sports driver up in 8th position just behind Ben Henniker for the Cobalt Racing entry, who is going to be getting it home in another top 10 finish here tonight, something he will be pretty stoked with, I am sure. A very eventful night tonight here at Nashville, and some minor implications to the championship, but the top 4 still running inside the top 6 at the moment. Barry Neal will lose some points to Ruben Phelps and Jason Martin in the championship battle, but this man will gain more points than the rest of them once more. He is the leader at the moment, the championship leader and the race leader. And as he comes through with 2 laps remaining, it's not long until we see that white flag mark.
Yeah, 100%, Carl. And again, we've been spoiled for some great racing here tonight. And then off to the 1.5 mile track next week at Homestead. So a little bit of a different track again.
Absolutely. As the white flag flies here for Andrew Dyson, he comes around for his final run of the lap just behind Perry Anastakis, who is going to try and hold it on for one more lap here to keep himself on the lead lap for tonight. But as Dyson goes around the final corner, lights it up and takes victory here at Nashville Fairgrounds. And as they all cross the line, it is Andrew Dyson, Ryan Jones bringing a DPR 1-2 here tonight. Another decent result for a team that is always hard to beat, no matter the kind of track, car or style of racing it is. And this man, Andrew Dyson, once again showing that he knows how to do a good burnout, will be performing another victory burnout here at Nashville. So let's bring up the results for the race, and it is Dyson taking victory here tonight from start to finish. up at the front of the field. Ryan Jones comes home second. Ruben Phelps, big mover of the race, from 13th position up to 3rd position. Jason Martin in 4th after a very busy night in pit lane getting those repairs done. Gary Wellman brings it home 5th for the Sin Boys. Barry Neal caught out, we saw in that incident, the final caution, comes home in 6th spot. Ben Henniker in 7th position, with Perry Anastakis in 8th. 9th for JCW, and Brad Fenley brings it home in 10th position. So we roll over the page. It's Dave Douglas in 11th, 12th for Christopher Ireland, Cade Donnelly in 13th, 14th for Noddy Tompkins, Stevie Dubb in 15th position, 16th for Norman Clark, 17th for Shane Bowen, 18th for Roger Clark, and Derek Jacobs in 19th position out early doors.
Again, though, Carl, that couple of early cautions, and then guys settled down, and some great racing through that mid race, and then again some great racing towards the end.
No, we saw some great racing out there tonight, indeed. Well, as we said, next time up we are off to Homestead. It is Homestead, Miami, which will be coming to you next Thursday night as we hit round 10 of the season. Not long to go now until the final race of the Thunder Series of the X-Finity cars here on Performance E-Streaming. So we do hope you can join us for that one. Of course, we will wait for the drivers to stretch their legs a little bit, have a little bit of a drink and a quick pit stop for themselves, and then we will bring them up for their interviews for tonight's race.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at the calendar, it's some interesting races still to go. As you said, Carl, off to Homestead next week, and then we're back on well, I don't mind the joint. We head to Richmond, and then to finish the season off, heading out to Michigan. So some great racing. We've still got mid-sized tracks, and then that tight little place known as Richmond. So be interesting to see who can get on top of those next 3 rounds.
No, absolutely. Some challenging stuff to come, and well, it's going to be interesting to see who can secure their spot in the championship. As well, you've got to say it's looking good for Dyson at the moment, but the other spots are in a bit of jeopardy, so still plenty of excitement and plenty to happen here in the very near future. But I'll be handing over to Mark now as the drivers are starting to congregate in the green room, and we'll start with some post-race interviews.
Yeah, well, we are first up. We've got our pilot Ruben Phelps of the 06 SRM car. Mate, welcome to the booth, and congratulations on 3rd place tonight.
Yeah, that was... My arms are completely dead.
Yeah, it looked like hard work out there. I'm glad we had the nice, comfortable chairs up here in the commentary booth. Mate, looked like it was a bit rough down low on that low line. Car bouncing around a little bit.
Yeah, it would be fine for, say, the first 15, maybe 20 laps. But then, for whatever reason, or what I was feeling, is the right rear tyre was just not playing a bar no matter what I tried. Even if, like, in a battle or even when I was by myself, it just wouldn't settle down. I don't know if it was just the way, I went in hard and then went in easy, and it still kept heating it up. So I think they actually helped with the pace, but I couldn't get the grip. So that's so it's like you can endurance the tyre with it being loose, but you can't keep it to stop sliding around.
Yeah, you're right. We've seen there that you had a great fight with Dyson and Jones towards the end, and that low line, just as you're saying, that low line just wasn't working with you without that right rear getting the drive off the right rear. It just wanted to break loose on you all the time.
Yeah, exactly. But also on top of that, I could have driven into the corner a little bit harder when I was inside, but I had 8X. So if I had one massive door bang, that was it, because of obviously going through the middle of the big wreck at the start, and I think there was something else I must have got bumped with. I can't remember exactly what that was, but either way, I got to 8X, so if I had one more 4X, it's all over. So it's like, I want to battle, I want to, get the first, but I had to be extra careful with it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, mate, we're off to our Homestead, Miami next week. Bit of a flat type track, but a mile and a half. Looking forward to heading there.
Yeah, and, well, every track's fun in their own way. It just depends on how you approach it. But really, I just drive whatever I can do, if it's fun or not, or there's the worst car to drive and it doesn't handle right. You just got to deal with it, don't you?
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it. Well, mate, again, congratulations on third place. Before we let you go, shout out to sponsors and supporters.
I got to shout out you guys for putting the broadcast on. It's always good to watch back on. Of course, Matty Ray at SRM Australia, and he was there in my ear for most of the night, just watching the broadcast since he couldn't race. But of course, Lockie, he usually races, but not ANZCAR too much these days at the moment. But of course, our sponsors of Moondog and our charities of Tier Streets Australia and Australia Alopecia.
All right, mate. Well, thanks again for your time tonight, and again, congratulations on third place, and we'll see you next week at Homestead.
Yeah, and I've got to also competitors did a really good job tonight, and they gave me hard work, but I liked the way DPR raced me. That was hard and fair.
Yeah, good to hear, mate.
Cheers.
All right, thanks, mate, and we'll see you next week.
I'll catch you later.
All right, we'll bring up our the pilot of the number 11 Chevrolet for DPR, Mr. Ryan Jones. Welcome to the booth, mate. And I am going to say this, and I do mean this. What a great hard-fought battle for second place tonight.
Pretty hard fought for the lead as well, I would say. We're up there for 95% of it.
Oh yeah, look, I'm not taking anything away from that. Definitely a hard-fought race. You and your teammate Dyson definitely got into it in the early stages, and you had some great battles there in the mid pack too, with DD when he was up there running, and then towards the end, Phelpsy definitely wanted to have a go at you too.
Yeah, Phelpsy and a couple of boys were using the tyres pretty hard early on, and I think that second last stint, I got Fox into using the tyres with them, and so I fell off pretty hard. And then that last run, Ruben was pushing hard early again, and just tried to look after it, and was sort of hanging with Daiso, and with about 10 to go, he decided to stop playing around and pissed off into the distance, and I just gave up and started sliding the tyres out everywhere, and almost cost myself the spot.
Mate, so was it tyre wear or tyre heat tonight?
Both. I mean, as soon as you slide the tyres, you overheat the right rear. I was really struggling tonight. As soon as I did that, I could not get through the corner without sliding. As soon as I came off the brake, I was full sideways. And of course, when you're sliding, you start to wear the tyre out. So it's just a horrific cycle of tyre temp and tyre wear working against each other.
Yeah, definitely 100%. A little bit bumpy down low. We knew this place was a little bit bumpy. Did that have much to do with your tyre wear? Were the stops bottoming out or anything and making you bounce around on that low line?
Yeah, it's hard work, this place. You got to wheel it very more than any other track that we've been to this year, and yeah, you can run the low line, but there's so many bumps down there, so it was really tricky on the exit. You really just squeezing the throttle on bit by bit, like you're not full throttle until you're halfway down the straight as you get towards the end of the run. And on the entries, you could use it up pretty good. I was using up the entries quite a bit, driving it in hard, but yeah, it's a place you can run a couple different lines, which is always good. Yeah,
definitely. We just seen a few of the guys getting up there in the marbles in mid race and trying to get out of the road of you front runners and just coming unstuck in those marbles and with no rubber being laid down up there.
Yeah, it's, I think 2.5 lanes you could use. As soon as you got above that, it's pretty cooked.
Yeah, right. Well, mate, we're off to our homestead at Miami next week. Looking forward to that. Nice 1.5 mile flat track.
Yeah, not really. I won't be there, so oh well.
Okay.
But I'm sure Dyson will clear out again. Hopefully, Jason gives him a good run though. I think he got taken out pretty early on tonight, which was a shame. And yeah, I'll cheer him on.
All right, mate. Well, again, congratulations. And before we let you go, we'll let Dyso do all the hard work with sponsors, but personal shout outs for yourself tonight.
Oh, just big shout out Kyle Larson. I modelled a few of my restarts after him tonight. I think I beat Dyso to the line a couple of times from P2. And all the boys at DPR for tuning in, cheering us on, talking some smack in the broadcast chat. Yeah.
Beautiful, mate. Well, okay. We'll see you the next time you can get out for the next, whenever that is. And again, congratulations, mate, on second place tonight.
Yeah, cheers, boys.
Well, there you have Mr. Ryan Jones, and we will bring up the pilot of the 41 Chevrolet, Mr. Andrew Dyson. Welcome to the booth, mate. Just let me clear off that seat for you and have a seat. What a great race tonight.
It was a good race. It was close. There was a lot of side-by-side stuff. You like that?
Yeah, you and your teammate Jonesy there was having a great ding-dong battle early in the race, and then he fell off. Then he come back and had another bite at you, and real close racing between you guys and Phelpsy there towards the end.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of that going on. There's a bit of, we were running each other tight, and then we're sliding up the track, and then he tried to slide job me, and I got underneath him. That was Ryan I'm talking about. There was a bit of that going on, and then almost the same thing a little later on with Ruben when he sort of got underneath me and was staying there for a while. Then we both slid up the track one time, and that was good. So there was a bit of everything. Yeah,
Jonesy's just said you could probably use 2.5 lanes, and we definitely seen that tonight. We've seen that anyone that got up in that top lane really come unstuck, and the car broke loose. But also too, if you sat down right on that yellow line, the car was breaking loose with the bumps and the tyre heat coming through.
Yeah, definitely. I think down low it was just bumps and just the track gets really flat really early down there, so you got no grip. And up top, I didn't really get up there myself in the race. I might have way earlier on just messing around in practice, but I do remember it being really loose. And I'm not really sure why, but again, it could just be the shape of the track or something like that was making it do it, as well as in the race marbles things. So. Yeah, that's a good track though. You can run a few different lines and do a few different things to sort of manipulate what cars that are behind you are doing, for example, to help you keep the lead. So no, it's good.
Yeah, we've seen a few guys here tonight try the old Speedway Diamond, but it just didn't work for the guys here tonight. We've seen you basically stick to that just middle of that first and second lane. And really drive away in the end.
Yeah, mostly probably in the middle, a little bit down the bottom. But as far as those, I suppose 2.5 lanes go, just pretty much anywhere in that area I was mainly sticking to.
Yeah, definitely. Well, mate, we've left all the hard work for you. Shout out to the sponsors and personal thanks.
Yep, thanks to all those folks you see on the side of the car, on the bonnet, and all those little ones that are contingency sponsors like Mobile One, Co-Medic head gaskets, this, that. But no, thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and all the guys at ANZCAR put this on every week, and all the drivers who keep showing up and making a race of it. X-Finity cars nearly wearing down now, and we'll be getting into the Cup cars again soon, so that should be cool.
Yep, 3 more rounds off to Homestead, Miami next week. A nice 1.5 mile flat track for you.
Yeah, that should be good. Hopefully, again we can run different lanes there and different lines and make it interesting that way. That should be good because I like it when it's like that.
Yeah, definitely makes for good racing, and definitely keeps us up here in the booth on our toes, trying to watch everyone through the field. So, mate, again, congratulations on another race wins in the Xfinity series, and we'll see you next week at Homestead.
All right, cheers, guys.
Well, there you have it, Carl. 3 fairly reasonable, happy people. So it's great to see these guys really race door to door like we have seen, again, right through the truck series and also through this Xfinity series.
No, absolutely. Some fantastic action out here tonight. Shame to see so many cars caught up in that early incident. It really did just, unfortunately, take a fair few fast cars out of the mix tonight. But amazing action up the front. We saw Dyson and Jones basically side by side almost for half the race distance, and then Ruben Phelps taking it to them as well. So it was great to see that action up the front. Of course, we will be heading to Homestead next time out, so we look forward to seeing you all there for that one on the 1st of August, as the year slips away far too quickly from all of us. But from us here at Performance Eastern, with myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you, and of course Mr. Mark Johansson, we're going to wish you a very good night indeed, and we will see you all again for more action next week at Homestead, Miami. Thank you so much, and see you again soon. Bye-bye.